This podcast is called Obsessed. Joseph Scrimshaw and his guest get some secrets off their chest. You should listen. It's the best.
Hello and welcome to Obsessed Podcast with me, Joseph Scrimshaw. I'm sitting in my home with an awesome comedian and director, Jefferson Dutton.
Hey, how are you? Good to be here.
That sounded like very, very practiced, very perfect.
Yeah, I was rehearsing in my car.
Do you do a lot of podcasts? Are you a frequent podcast guest?
Well, I just did Doughboys on the Feral Audio Network.
Oh, nice.
That was a good time.
Nice.
Yeah.
And did they ask you to have a intro like that?
No, freewheeling over there.
They're pretty unrehearsed, aren't they?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we've been starting out our podcast by taking some questions from listeners about their own obsessions and then getting some help from my guests from answering it. So you'd be up for doing that?
Sure.
Awesome. This one comes from Jake Higgins, and he says, I have an obsession with buying physical media, particularly CDs and Blu-rays, and while Netflix and other streaming services are great, I feel like that older asshole who doesn't like change sometimes. Am I fighting a lost cause, or should I keep this resistance going?
I'll tell you, I'm one of you.
Oh, really? You're with Jake Higgins.
I do the physical media, not for just like any new thing that comes out, but generally like, I don't know, I kind of see it as like a bookshelf. Like you're curating a collection of like what you think is good. Because we've all been in that situation where you all of a sudden don't have internet.
Yeah.
And then like, what, you just don't have anything? You
have
have
to,
no
like,
music, you have
think
no...
or look at the horizon? That's bullshit.
So like, you know, I have Star Wars and Alien and Terminator and like sort of like the big chunks of influence, I guess. Like I just sort of want to have those on the newest thing.
Yeah.
And it's a little, I do feel like a sucker also. I think
just financially?
Well, yeah, and I don't know. It does sort of feel like nobody does that anymore. But hey, my car also has a CD player, so I still burn actual CDs to listen to music. I don't have a jack or anything. So.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Do you use Spotify at all?
I do a little bit, but I don't know. I'm an iTunes guy.
Okay.
Like I also like dabble in DJing and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So Spotify doesn't really like help you in that regard.
Right.
You sort of like need to have the song so you can like stretch it and kind of manipulate it.
Yeah, cool. Well, DJing stuff is awesome. So when you say curating, I agree with you. And that's obviously for yourself. You're talking about like the fear of the internet blackout of like, what if I need to watch Aliens tonight?
Yes.
I'm not putting up with this bullshit.
Right.
But for like people coming into your home, do you feel like it is a presentation of yourself of like, these are the movies that make me me?
Yeah, I think it probably has happened already in colleges and stuff. But you used to be able to walk into somebody's place and you would get a sense of who they were just based on like a first impression of what's on their bookshelf, what's in their living room. And you still can. But as far as like the DVD, book, CD, you know, having your personality out in your living room, that doesn't really happen anymore. You just... Everybody has a phone and they all look the same. And that's where all your stuff is.
All your personality is just whatever cover your iPhone has,
yes,
right?
Yes, exactly.
It would be so weird if you walked into a person's home and you just saw like very large servers, like corporate industrial servers.
Just
and be
big
like,
humming servers that your hair stands on end when you walk in.
Exactly. I would just assume it's porn. That's unfair. But I think that's me. So I think, Jake, the answer is you are not alone. You should keep the resistance going. I think there are a lot of us who have physical collections who just want to touch things and own things. So.
Ooh, and the art, you know, just having like people really lamented it when it was vinyl. Because vinyl is such like a nice big, you know, it's like a calendar size image.
Yeah.
On the front of this, and you got the inner leaflet type artwork.
The liner notes.
Know, that's cool. It's sad to see that stuff go.
So you are not alone, Jake. Keep collecting. Keep spending an insane amount of money. Give Disney whatever they want. They have us hostage. So, Jeff, want to talk a little bit about who you are and what you do? Can you tell people listening who may not be familiar with you?
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
Those sad bastards who don't already know you?
Well, here we go. I'm a director, and I'm a member of the Birthday Boys sketch comedy group.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Birthday Boys was on IFC?
Yeah, for 2 seasons. We were canceled about a year ago, but now we're on Netflix, and you can check it out. Also, there's an IFC app for Apple TV that we're on, so that's
cool. I recently watched a bunch of the sketches and really enjoyed them.
Season 2?
You know, I don't know because I went to YouTube and I got Birthday Boys, and I looked at the ones that had words that I liked, like Star Wars.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, that's season 2. I like it's like a more confident, cohesive show.
Okay.
Season 1 has got a little bit of that like baby deer legs sense to it.
Yeah. And you came out of UCB and Birthday Boys came out of UCB, right?
Yeah, we all went to Ithaca together.
Okay.
In upstate New York and moved out in 05.
Okay.
Found the theater and met Neil Campbell and Paul Rust, who were sort of our big brothers leading us through, like, here's how you do it.
Okay.
And they directed our first show. And when Neil became the artistic director, he said, like, I want to do a monthly show with my sketch group and your sketch group.
Okay.
So we had this weird scenario where anybody familiar with like the UCB system of like Harold and Maude teams, we were never subject to like the theater being able to like break us up or anything, because we came in as a
little
group
unit
through the Not Too Shabby like sketch open mic, basically.
Okay.
So we just got to kind of do our thing like untouched. It was like kind of a package deal. It was great.
Oh yeah, that's nice. And now you're directing more now. And,
yes.
And you're really interested in directing.
Yeah, I say that's probably like the frontier for me, like what I would like to die doing.
Okay, cool. So let's get into your obsession. Mm-hmm. As always, I email people and I ask them for obsessions. You offered me a couple, but I was really intrigued by Jurassic Park.
Nice. I was surprised you hadn't done it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm really surprised I haven't done it. Because people come at me with like Star Wars stuff, and we've done lots of Star Wars stuff. I'm a huge Star Wars guy. And I've done an episode kind of about dinosaurs in general, where Jurassic Park shadowed over dinosaurs.
Yeah, I bet.
But Jurassic Park is, it's fascinating to me because it's different from something like Star Wars or Star Trek. It's not this whole expansive world, but people seem to have that same level of intensity and love for it and formative experience of it.
Yeah, it did. It hit for me in a very like powerful window of like being 10 years old.
Yeah.
I think I was 10 or 11 because it came out in 93, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
And I was born in 83, so probably, 10 or 11.
Okay, so do you remember the first time you saw it? Did you see it in the theater?
Yeah, I saw it. My grandfather took me to, in Nashua, New Hampshire, we went to a theater and we walked in a little bit late. I didn't realize that I'd missed the Raptor cold open the first time I saw it.
Oh, okay.
I came in when like the lawyer is riding the raft towards the amber mine.
Okay.
In like the second, it's like a minute and a half into Jurassic Park, and then I saw it, months later with my buddy at the first time I've ever been to a drive-in. That was
oh, cool,
a fun one.
Was it scary as a kid to see it at a drive-in?
Yeah, I mean, like I had already seen it and loved it at that point, so the only new thing was like the Raptor part, and I just thought that like, there's this new scene or whatever.
So you think it was this special edition that had been added?
But it was great. It was scary, but it wasn't. I do remember being scared that they were going to do it in life. Like it did give me the sense that like scientists are reckless and that something bad is inevitably going to happen because of like scientists disrespecting nature, which is probably like Spielberg's idea.
Absolutely.
That is completely intentional. But I was afraid of like, oh great, they are going to clone dinosaurs. It's completely possible. They are going to do it and we're all going to die.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know. You think of stuff like that when you're a kid.
Absolutely. I think some kids do, but I don't think all kids. I mean, I think that's pretty novel to be like a kid walking out of it and not being like, oh my God, there's maybe going to be like, what if there's a dinosaur in my bedroom? And you're like, what if there's a scientist cloning shit in my bedroom? That's terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, you leave the movie thinking like, that's awesome. But there were nights where I would be like, oh no, one day there's going to be this thing. It's going to happen.
I also think that's cool to latch onto sort of the thematic level. Because, I talk to people about movies a lot, and I think it is natural that we gravitate toward like our favorite scene, our favorite line, our favorite character. And on some level, that's the surface. Mm-hmm. And it's cool to me that as a kid, the thing you gravitated to is the moral lesson of the film. Yeah. That maybe scientists shouldn't do some of the things that they do.
Well, like, that's the scariest, I think, thing that a movie can do is give you that haunting sense of inevitability. Like, The Shining is all that. It's just you feeling like something bad is going to happen for 2 hours.
There's very little arc to it. It starts out with an asshole who becomes a bigger asshole. An asshole with an axe. Yeah, but you're right. It's totally like, this is going to happen.
But, like, so that's the sort of thing that, like, it's not really a part of the experience of watching Jurassic Park, but just it did sort of kindle this sort of fear in me of distrusting science.
Yeah.
And like Spielberg does a lot of like distrusting the government, with E.T. and all this stuff.
Did that affect any of your like life choices as you grew up? Where like, I don't want to go into the sciences or distrustful of scientists, actually?
I do love science and technology and all this stuff. And I recently I did VR.
Oh, okay.
In, the Vive. Have you tried?
I have not tried the Vive yet.
Well, there's Oculus Rift, which is, I think, fixed point camera. So it's like you put on the goggles and you can look around, but you don't physically move.
Okay.
And the Vive is They call it, I think, 1-to-1. So it's like there are sensors in the room and you can physically move.
Right.
And it's pretty seamless.
Okay.
To the point where when I put the goggles on and I did it, I thought I would have to sort of like willingly suspend disbelief and like help my brain trick itself the way you see like a 3D movie, and you can sort of like, you're a little distracted by like, oh, am I doing it right? Should I relax? Should I
right.
like it's always
Do
like
I have
this,
the right posture to make this work?
Yeah, am I doing it wrong? And then like this was just immediately like, it does trick your brain so quickly and so seamlessly that I was like, oh, we are going to lose people to this.
Okay.
It was my first, it was like confirmed, we're going to lose able-bodied adults to this as soon as it's like, what's the word? Like mainstream.
Yeah,
viable, as soon as it's like a sustainable, cheap thing that people can just have, we're going to lose people to this.
Well, people are just going to be like, I don't care. I know that I'm sitting on my couch in my own filth, but I'm not leaving my imaginary world.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like all the Warcraft type people. You're goners. Like that's just kiss a goodbye. Like there's no coming back from the VR thing. I don't think.
That is terrifying to me. So when you experience those things like that, does it relate back to your initial experience or memories of Jurassic Park?
Oh no, I'm just riffing on a podcast. I don't know, maybe, yeah, probably subconsciously that's rattling around. I don't know.
Awesome. Well, since you went right for the heart of the deep stuff, I want to dial it back to some of the surface stuff. Did you have like a favorite dinosaur growing up? Was there one that you were particularly enchanted with?
Yeah. Well, I had like dinosaur books when I was a kid. In the 90s, I feel like you probably touched on this in the dinosaur episode. We just had like dinosaur fever as a culture. And Jurassic Park certainly had a lot to do with it, but I think it was kind of happening before then too.
Yeah.
Like we had Dinosaucers and like Denver the Last Dinosaur and the ABC, like Not the Mama dinosaurs.
Right. Even Barney, yeah.
Barney, like it's a cool thing because they did exist as a kid, to be confronted with like, there were once these huge things and they did exist and you can see the bones. But, we don't really have that now. Like, what's the new dinosaur fever like?
I don't know. I feel like fevers are so separated out because you can create your own experience with media, and your parents can really control better what they show you. And so I'm sure there are things emerging, but I'm always like, well, I think younger kids when they grow up, they'll be like, remember that meme? That was the thing that we all experienced.
Oh yeah,
was that same meme?
Dat boy, frog.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be their.
We all love him.
Remember when we all went to Jurassic Park, and they'll be like, remember when we all reshared Dat boy?
Yeah. I bet it is YouTubers. I bet it'll be be like PewDiePie. Yeah. That's probably the only thing. Like to us, it'll be. I mean, we have like every 10 years, like a new Ninja Turtles comes out or a new Batman comes out. What's going to happen with these kids who's like, their nostalgia is based on like PewDiePie, who's just going to be like a 50-year-old man someday?
Yeah. I think that people are just going to keep watching. Like, rock and roll always seemed to me like, okay, well, that's a youthful thing. But no, I mean, still the original like rock and roll artists, like the Rolling Stones, like still they won't stop. So I kind of think PewDiePie is going to be like 60 years old, and 50-year-olds are going to be sitting watching him on the Vibe or whatever
he has a very sustainable model in that he can play video games and make faces into his twilight years.
Exactly. That's great. So, but from the movie, did you fight with other kids? Were you like, the T-Rex was the best, the Velociraptors were the best?
Oh, sorry. So when I was a little kid, the Ankylosaurus, I don't know. It's the armored one with the club tail. Yeah. Who's like a little spiky turtle. That was my favorite for whatever reason from the book, my dinosaur book.
Okay.
But in the movie, I mean, I don't know. I'd say probably the raptors are the best. Like T-Rex is like the king, but like the raptors were kind of, I would say, more culturally impactful. It was like more of a crazy concept that there were smart dinosaurs.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we're the sort of like underdog dinosaurs. So like, you guys all know about T-Rex, but you know what's going to blow your mind? Fucking Velociraptors. Yeah. Did you fight with other kids on the playground? Did you interact with other kids on the playground about dinosaurs or Jurassic Park in general? Is that part of your playground life?
That is a good question. I don't think so. I did get in a fight with my friend who I saw Jurassic Park with. This was like 6th grade.
Okay.
We went to the drive-in, and this was the first kid who was like a good friend. He was like my best friend, and he was the first person that we had a fight about over a woman. I don't know.
It wasn't Laura Dern, was it?
No, it wasn't Laura Dern. It was a classmate.
Okay.
But I don't know. That's neither here nor there. There were no fights about dinosaurs.
Okay. Just on the playground. So I guess what I'm interested in is, you said it was really formative when you saw it.
Yeah.
But how did you express it when you were young? Did you just want to see it again and again? Did you think about it? Did you buy toys?
Yeah, that was in that great era when you didn't... Well, I mean, the internet's great. But pre-internet, like, you wouldn't know a movie was coming out until you saw a poster in the movie theater.
Right.
Like, you'd go to see a movie, and then you'd happen to see, like, the next movies that are coming out. And so I remember going to CVS and seeing that the VHS for Jurassic Park was out.
Okay.
Like, they had, like, the big display, like, at the front door being like, Jurassic Park is on tape. And that was, like, a huge thing for me because it totally blindsided me. This movie that I'd seen twice in the theaters was, like, when it hit home video. Yeah. I remember that being, like, it's etched in my brain, walking into CVS and seeing, like, that. But also, I was probably too old for action figures.
Okay.
And definitely did the action figures for Jurassic Park. Like, I had the compound and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And like, I was in 5th or 6th grade. And I don't know. It's like, my parents are probably like, you still into this stuff? Oh, okay.
So did you actually actively play with the action figures in the compound?
Yeah. And, this is good stuff. I made a Jurassic Park, quote unquote movie on my video camera using a combination between, like, doing stop motion with the action figures and then having, like, live action segments.
Okay.
Like being in the car and doing the water ripple effect.
Okay.
Like, I had conned my friend into being a part of it, and you can tell that we shot it on a Saturday, and you can see him lose interest over the course of the movie. And it's like getting dark and he's not into it, and I'm like cajoling him on camera into, like, doing certain things. But yeah. That was kind of the beginning of shooting stuff too.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And it was looking back, it was like a weird mixed media thing to be doing action figures and live action, depending on, like, what the scene required.
Were you just trying to recreate the movie, or were you trying to create your own new narrative?
Yeah. Well, no, wait, we had done, like, me and this same friend had done Ghostbusters, had done, a bunch of, like, random little stop motion things, but Ghostbusters and Jurassic Park were kind of just remakes, like, as best as we could remake them.
So you're sort of sweeting the movies.
Yeah. Really, exactly. That's what it was.
Do you still have it?
Yes, I do have it.
Have you put it on YouTube? Would you want to?
I could do that. I'll put it on. I got, like, a Vimeo or something.
Okay. So is that something, like, when you look back at that, like, you're proud of, or is it like?
Yeah, I'm proud that I did it. I think it's cool. I feel like creative people always have it already sounds so fucking pretentious. But you have that imposter syndrome of just, like, should I really be doing this?
Yeah.
And, like, whatever. And so it actually gives me heart to know that at such a young age I was interested in the stuff that I am still interested in.
Yeah, absolutely.
That kind of makes it feel like, well, regardless of what happens, like, this is kind of like what makes me happy, so this is just what I'm going to do.
Right. And it's never been like, I'm wasting my time getting lost in the fantasy of dinosaurs. I immediately turn my liking this movie into an expression of, like, what I'm going to do and who I'm going to be as a human.
Yeah, like, if I spend my life in vain trying to essentially, like, remake Jurassic Park or make my Jurassic Park or whatever, like, and it never happens, I'll still die happy. Like, yeah, that was what I'm here to do.
Yeah. Now, when you saw the movie, did you relate to the kids? Did you relate to the adults or the dinosaurs? Like, were you on a side other than fuck you scientists?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one because Spielberg oscillates a little bit between being the kid and being the parent. And there's a great Vimeo. Have you seen this article?
No. I'm
gonna like give the guy a shout out because it's really great. His name is Mike Hill, and he did a little, like, a half-hour little essay. It's like a video speech called Spielberg's Subtext.
Okay.
And it's about how Jurassic Park is about becoming ready for parenthood. And he goes into a lot of it, like how, Grant doesn't like kids.
Right.
And the whole movie despite being about just like, oh, run from dinosaurs, is about this one guy's, that's how he changes throughout the course of the movie. He's bad with kids, and then he's good with the kids.
Right, he starts by giving that speech to the one kid about how velociraptors will kill you. Right.
And then at the end, he's got the 2 kids under his arms in the helicopter.
Okay.
But throughout the movie, he'll talk about, I don't feel like I'm biting his stuff. This stuff is in the movie. We're talking about it. Like when they're looking at the raptor skeleton in the beginning, that's sort of like the sonogram scene.
Yeah.
It's like them getting ready to be a parent that way. And then later in the movie, they're in basically a fertility clinic with the eggs.
Yeah.
And they're picking the shells and pulling the raptor out of the husk of the egg.
Yeah.
And then the stretchiest thing that Hill talks about that I was wary about, but now completely buy, is that Grant has birth scenes with each kid, and that the car
that they're like actually pulled out of some sort of...
Yes, and that they're removed from a vessel one at a time by Grant. And at first I was like, yeah, I don't know, it's a little stretchy. But it is, everything is sort of purposeful, especially when you're on Spielberg's level.
Yeah.
And the fact that it is Grant and the kids, there's nobody else in the cars. It's not like he helps the lawyer get out. It is only him and him and Lex, and then him and Tim.
Adults can die in a toilet,
yes,
but kids should be emerged and pulled into your warm embrace.
Yes, exactly. And there's something that he doesn't bring up, so this is fresh stuff, guys.
This is total Dutton theory.
Right before the T-Rex attacks, which is sort of spurs this whole pulling the kids out of the egg thing. What's his name? Nedry? Yeah. Newman.
Yeah, Newman.
He, on his desk, has a picture of Oppenheimer, the nuclear scientist.
Yeah.
And there's a Post-it with a atomic bomb drawing in pencil, and then a Post-it next to it that says, "The beginning of the baby boom."
Interesting.
And it's right before, don't forget the magic word, and it's right before Grant, quote unquote, has the kids.
Okay.
So it's like, there's a bunch of little stuff in there that feels like, they really were thinking about the subtextual ways in which, like, this is a guy being ready to be a parent. But anyway, sorry.
No, this is great.
Rambly.
No, this is great.
I related to Grant like a kid, but, I never related to kids in kid movies.
Yeah.
Like, except like maybe like E.T., but like whenever there is an adult, like Indiana Jones just behaves like an adventuring little kid.
Right. Yeah, and you want to project up to the bigger, cooler guy.
Yeah, there's an aspirational quality to, like, I'm that guy.
Yeah. So did you like Grant, or did you like Malcolm? Ian Malcolm? Because Grant's like the loving paternal figure who grows to be paternal.
Yeah.
And he's wise, but he's kind of like a stick in the mud, as I remember. And then Malcolm's like this
cool
leather, sweat dripping off my pecs scientist.
Love Malcolm. Yeah. And more as, like, time went on. At first, that was probably the first time I'd seen Jeff Goldblum also.
Okay.
So that was my first exposure to, like, the weirdness that is Goldblum. And then I saw The Fly, probably not too far after. Have you seen The Fly?
If I did, it was so long ago that I don't really remember details.
Ooh, baby, it's a good one. And he's also great in it, and it's like, it's all Goldblum. It's wall-to-wall Goldblum turning into a fly. And there's a scene in there that really scarred me as a kid. That, like, I remember, getting to the age where I could, like, watch whatever, and it didn't scare me too much. And it's Cronenberg, and there's a scene where I think it's Gina Davis. I'm not sure who the leading woman
that
is.
sounds right.
She has, like, a hallucination where after she had sex with Goldblum earlier in the movie, she goes into labor and gives birth to a writhing maggot.
Okay.
A giant writhing maggot. And I remember seeing that as a kid and being like, I wasn't ready. I'm sorry. I take it back.
I am too young to watch this.
I had gone too far. And, like,
you're right, parents.
Stained my little brain.
So you like Malcolm? You prefer Malcolm now as an adult, as a comedian? Because he's got so many great lines.
He's just way cooler. Grant reminds me of, like, just the men in my family, like, totally cool. Like, he reminds me of my grandfather.
Okay.
Like, they both sort of have, like, a very traditional sort of cowboy quality to them.
Yeah, it's like smart and reasonable, like a little bit of romance, but so smart and reasonable.
Yeah, a little bit of a grump.
Yeah.
But, like, in a cool way.
Yeah, you feel like, Malcolm you could go out and have a drink with.
Yeah.
And, like, Grant would be like, well, let's have 3.2% beers, because technically...
Mormon beers, yeah.
If there was a real Jurassic Park, would you go to it?
Yeah.
Really? Even though, like, with the scientist fear, with your knowledge, you had such great insight about the inevitability of this is going to go wrong.
Yeah. Well, I still think that that's true on like a global level. Like, I think that we as humans will get too big for our britches and learn some hard lessons. And we kind of already have, and we will continue to do so. Yeah. But as far as like actually having a dinosaur park, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
I take it all back.
You would go to there. No questions asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I could afford it, I'm sure it'd be pricey.
I think you'll be able to handle it. I had this experience when the trailer for Jurassic World came out, and I tweeted about it, and a bunch of people was like, yeah, me too. The first trailer for Jurassic World really just showed people enjoying the park, like en masse, which we'd never really seen in any of these movies before.
Right.
And there's a part of me of like, I might just go to a movie that's a documentary of people just enjoying the goddamn park. And I don't know if I need the dinosaurs escaping part.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel that? Would you want to see a Jurassic Park movie that's just a successful park with very little conflict?
Ooh, where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I do sort of think that was like the cool 2016 thing to do, like show the functioning park.
Yeah.
But there is something just more insular and it feels like, oh, it's me when there's only like 5 people in the movie.
Right.
Like, I think it was, for whatever reason, kind of robbed of like, oh, this is my secret place, or like, this is an adventure for me, versus when it's just like, hey, whoever, it's just like a bunch of CG people running around getting killed by CG dinosaurs.
Right, but it took away a little bit of the sort of that Spielberg like private experience.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the only one who saw this, and will anyone ever believe me?
I've heard it referred to as hotboxing your story also.
Okay.
Which is just means like pressure cook your like characters and like put them in a place that, you don't have a lot of options, you don't have a lot of time, you don't have a lot of resources.
Right.
And I think that like Jurassic Park is definitely that.
Yeah, it feels
once the storm hits, it's just like you're kind of on lockdown and everything is a little harder.
Right. You're totally hot. Would you want to be hotboxed in real life if you had the money? You went to the Jurassic Park and it was just for you? Or would you want to be there with a bunch of idiots eating corn dogs?
Give me like a couple dinosaur experts and a mathematician, and I feel like I'd be okay.
Awesome. Would you ever want to be cloned, speaking of all of your thoughts about science and about responsibility? Would you want to be cloned yourself?
Well, I think the fun answer is yes. And then like the sort of like Black Mirror tragic, there's just so many ways it goes wrong.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with no. If you don't want to have a kid, you shouldn't. I mean, I'd have a kid someday, but
yeah,
I'm in no hurry to have a kid, in no hurry to have a clone.
Okay.
If I get the kid thing handled,
okay,
I'd consider a clone.
So you're Grant at the beginning of the movie right now.
Yeah.
You don't want kids. You don't want to be cloned. Right. That's irresponsible.
In the same way that a pet is training wheels for having a kid is training wheels for cloning yourself.
I cannot argue with that. I wanted to ask you some questions based on some of the famous quotes of Jurassic Park.
Okay.
So the one that sticks in my head is "hold on to your butts."
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that is actually good advice for any sort of emergency?
Yeah. I think most of Sam Jackson's quotes for his whole career are applicable to regular life.
So if you were on this, if you were hotboxed on the real Jurassic Park,
mm-hmm.
and you knew that a problem was coming,
mm-hmm.
would you say to the other scientist, the mathematician, we should hold on to our butts now?
Yeah. Unless somebody beat me to it. I feel like everybody'd be itching to say it. Well, in this reality, the movie exists or no?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So everybody's itching to say like, oh, I get to say the line. Wait till something goes bad. If something goes bad, there's a silver lining because I get to say the funny line.
Yeah, you put your money into the vending machine, the Snicker bars doesn't fall. Hold on to your butts. I'm going to get that Snickers bar. We touched on this a little bit, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the super famous quote of you were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that super on the nose to you? Is that the line that locked in your thoughts about the movie?
Yeah, probably. Like, Malcolm sees everything for what it is pretty early on.
Yeah.
He's if Hammond is God wearing all white and he's like the egg, like the giver of life, then Malcolm is your devil.
Yeah.
Who's just sort of like preaches chaos and,
literally, yeah.
Wears all black as a cool dude.
Yeah.
Just like the devil.
You are super analytical and thematic about movies, which makes sense as a director. Did you feel like you were always like that, or has that come to you as you've grown into doing this as a profession?
I think I probably didn't watch... I probably just enjoyed it on the level of a dinosaur movie when it first came out.
Yeah.
And if there were any other sort of... I think the reason it functions so well is because that there's a little more going on under the hood than meets the eye. But it would have just been like a subconscious... I don't know that I would be able to articulate that at all.
Yeah, when you were a kid.
But, I would say that like that movie hitting me at that age was probably the sort of experience that made me just want to be a director. Like,
okay.
Like my school did a thing called Eminent People.
Okay.
Eminent, that's the word, right?
Yeah.
Imminent means like about to happen.
Yeah, these people are coming now. It's imminent, but yeah, eminent are cool people.
Oh yeah, cool. Well, in 5th and 6th grade, we had to give a presentation on a famous or influential person in character. So you would like be the person. And everybody was doing like presidents and whatever, and I did Steven Spielberg.
How old were you?
It was probably honestly right on the heels of Jurassic Park.
Okay.
I knew who he was. Like, Spielberg was the person who let me know that the director is a profession. Like, you could be it.
Okay.
I think without him, it would have taken me years to know that movies were made by a person.
Right. Like, there's cops and doctors and nurses.
Yeah.
And now there's directors.
Just seeing like, oh, Steven Spielberg, he's a director. And then, like, that was your sort of inroad into like finding out who other people were. Because I did sort of have a steel trap mind for like, I worked at Suncoast for a little bit.
Oh, wow.
You know Suncoast?
Yeah, old video store.
Yeah, it was like Sam Goody.
Yeah.
Tertiary thing. But so I kind of was good at knowing stuff about movies that I hadn't really seen. Like, if I saw that, Nicole Kidman is in Batman Forever and she's also in Eyes Wide Shut, like, I would just sort of, that sort of information about movies would mean more to me, and it would just kind of like stick in my brain a little better.
Okay, you just had to like Suncoast osmosis.
Yeah, well, even like pre-Suncoast, like I could really sort of connect the dots as far as like, Robert Zemeckis is this type of guy.
Okay.
But I think it probably started with Spielberg, like putting an actual face to like, this is the guy that made E.T., Jurassic Park, Jaws.
Yeah. Now, how much did you have to dress up as Spielberg in school? Did you paste on a beard?
I think I probably did the beard, and then I did like little aviators and like I had a picture of him with like an Astros cap or like some sort of baseball cap.
Okay.
And I tried to like just make a facsimile, I'm sure, and like probably had like a track jacket or something.
Okay.
It probably didn't look like too much, but yeah. And then the next year I did Robin Williams. I remember that too.
That's really cool. I have played actual like historical figures when I've worked for museums as an actor, and I've played
can I guess?
Minneapolis.
Lincoln?
No, I never did Lincoln.
Okay,
thank
that's
God.
kind of the go-to, huh?
No, I played very obscure Minneapolis specific. Like Franklin Steele. The father of Minneapolis.
Okay.
Who laid claim to St. Anthony Falls. It's like there are always such challenges to like get to anything real when you're like, hello, I am so and so. But to think of somebody doing Steven Spielberg like that is so fun.
And also, I gotta say, kind of a crowd pleaser.
I was gonna ask about that. So like everybody was like, another Nixon. Finally, we get Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. Like even more so with like the Robin Williams stuff, because
I bet.
You had to research these people, and Spielberg, when he was a kid, made home movies, and the story that I kept coming across was that to make like his monster movie, he put a bunch of cans of cherries in a pressure cooker. Oh. And left it on until it exploded in the kitchen. And so like his mom just sort of like was cool enough to kind of go about her business for the rest of the week, just like wiping off cherry schmutz off the walls, like as she had to go about her business taking care of a family.
Yeah.
So little stuff like that.
So that was in your presentation?
Yeah. But I did remember feeling then like, why is everybody doing like these boring people? And like, I could tell like some of the parents in the audience were like giving me winks and stuff.
Oh, like, thank you for spicing it up.
Yeah. Like, I can't wait to see yours. So you're a cool guy.
So were you cognizant when you were doing it of wanting to be a comedian? Because obviously there's a director connection, but did you pick out things that you thought were going to get a laugh about Steven Spielberg's life?
I probably wasn't that funny.
Okay.
I don't know.
I was like sincere, like, you guys need to know how cool Steven Spielberg is.
Yeah. I mean, that story's like kind of like a funny thing that like stuck in my head, but I always sort of really liked funny people, but I don't know. I can't say that I was definitely a strange kid, but I was never like, oh my God, he's like the funniest dude.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Did you get voted anything when you were in high school?
Most artistic, but for drawing and stuff. I was like a big, like, I love comics and I drew.
Yeah, cool. Me too.
Nice.
What my degree is in.
Really?
Visual art, yeah.
Where'd you?
At the University of Minnesota.
Awesome.
Just got a visual art degree, but then I realized I preferred talking about the paintings and drawings.
Oh, yeah.
I could get laughs, and I was like, I see.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah, I asked because I was voted most personality in high school, and at first I was like, oh, that's really nice, and then I realized that's not best personality.
Oh,
most personality.
He's a bit
is different.
much. There's a lot of him.
This asshole over here. So I wanted to ask you about, since you're a movie maker and a comedian, if somebody came to you and said, we saw you put up on Vimeo, we saw this video you made of Jurassic Park. That's the spirit we want. We want to get back to the spirit of the original and just buckets of money. Would you honestly say, I'm interested in being a director, but not one of the most famous film franchises of all time. No, thank you.
Yeah, I'd do it. Is that what you want to hear?
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what like all of these people have said too. Like everybody who's accepted a Marvel movie has probably been like, oh boy, they want me to do Doctor Strange or whatever. And then ultimately they're like romanced into like, hey man, you get to do like, you get to like direct the Hulk or whatever. And people just can't turn it down. How could you?
I think Marvel is different in a way. I don't know how big of a comic book guy you are, but you said you like comics when you were a kid, right? Yeah. I mean, I feel like Marvel is different in a way because they are making comic books for the screen. So it's like this whole other kind of movie making that, in a way, has never been done before. Or like sometimes it's clumsy and dumb that you have to introduce an Infinity Stone, or you have to learn about, this thing that happened to Thor's, elbow once in order to make it work. But they're part of a shared universe.
Right.
Whereas Jurassic Park is sort of like that weird, like, how can we make the same thing happen again and again? And it hasn't gotten away from that sequel trap.
Yeah.
So do you have an idea of how you would get away from that sequel trap, where you want to tell that deep sort of story, like becoming a parent or...
Yeah, I think you'd have to approach it like an Aliens thing.
Okay.
Like, Alien is... Like the first one is like a survival horror movie. And then the sequel, the James Cameron one, is like, well, it's just it's kind of an action horror movie.
Yeah.
Like they're the same horror elements, but like, okay, there's going to be multiple of these things. We're going to have guns, and it's going to be more of like a war.
Yeah.
Like a space war versus I'm Ripley in a tank top running from a monster.
Yeah. And it's going to be a story of parenthood. Like apparently all good action adventure movies are.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, wow. But so I think that you would need to sort of go into some crazy territory. Like there was a rumored script for Jurassic Park 4 back, years ago, like before Michael Crichton died. And it was like the U.S. government, or like there was some like black ops shady faction of the government that was like training raptors for like black ops missions, and that they were like intelligent enough and
drinking martinis like James Bond.
Yeah. Or like it was, and elements of it are in Jurassic World. Like the Chris Pratt character, this old kind of like shitty weird thing that is just maybe internet fable. I don't know. It dealt with like the guy who was the lead, he was like the alpha of the Raptors, and they like took his orders, and they kind of do that with Chris Pratt. He's like cool with them.
Yeah, the Raptor Whisperer.
Until it's cool that the movie not obey that law, and they just sort of take it back and do what's cool.
So you just try to do something wild and crazy with it and truly break the formula.
Yeah, I feel like if you'd have to like do something like a post-apocalypse movie with dinosaurs. Like just
nice.
say like not only have they gotten to the mainland, they've taken back North America, and like other countries are shaking in their boots because like they're kind of landlocked, and like, you know, that would be like taking it to the nth degree. It's just like, it's not even a park anymore. It's just a dinosaur movie. But I don't know. It's tough because that's that overblown, too big for like a boots on the ground experiencer. It's too big of a concept. You're introducing probably a lot of like CG. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, do something crazy.
Okay, so if it was
go crazy with it. Don't keep making like park gone wrong stuff.
Yeah. So if it was like Jurassic Continent where they had taken back North America.
Yeah.
Is there an emotional theme that's like resonant to you, like becoming a parent, that you would try to layer into Jurassic Continent?
There would have to be. I don't know what it is, but I mean, like, you got to find it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
These are good questions.
Well, thank you. Is there anything like what do you wrestle with right now? Like, what are your, I mean, I know where you're at professionally, but are you super political? I'm
a little political. Mostly, I just want this election to be over.
Okay.
I'm so tired of like having to pay attention to fucking Trump shit every day.
Okay.
Like, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
So tired of it. Can we just be done?
Absolutely. That would be a fun thing to layer in. Like, there's no more voting.
Yeah.
There's no more politics.
That's
the dinosaurs
the bright side is just, there's no more of that.
It's the politics of nature now.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is Obsessed co-producer Sarah Meyer, and as I do every week, I've come out into the streets of LA to try to find out how your average person feels about this week's topic. Have you seen Jurassic Park?
Way back, but I cannot really recall it, you know what I mean? I watched it, I know it's dinosaurs and all that, you know what I mean?
First one? I remember being scared of it as a kid.
Yes, I did.
Do you have a favorite part?
Yeah, where the velociraptors are chasing them in a Jeep. And he's like nipping at them and they're getting close. Yeah. And then the T-Rex one where I think they're like hiding and then the T-Rex is stomping and you see the puddle shake. And that's a pretty classic scene.
When he's in the bathroom stall and then the dinosaur bites the top off of it and he's just sitting there.
Can you sing the theme?
Really like this.
Yeah, it's good.
You're not going to join him?
No, I'm going to let him do the singing.
No,
Would you ride a dinosaur?
I would like to see it, but I wouldn't want to be part of that era. I mean, that was really, really wild. You become food, you know what I mean? That's not interesting, you know what I mean?
Fuck yeah, I'd ride a dinosaur. Are they, like, safe to ride? Is it like riding a horse? Does somebody know it's dangerous? Then fuck no, I wouldn't ride a dinosaur.
So in the movie, they clone the dinosaurs, right, to make them in the first place. Would you clone yourself if you could?
Yes, why not? I'm pretty cool, so I would like that it will be a lot of Shiris like me. My name is Shiri, by the way, so I would like to see more Shiris in the world. I think that it will be very...
A better place.
A better place, yeah, exactly.
What do you think about Steven Spielberg?
I mean, he's a great producer, you know what I mean? His imagination, actually, the stuff that he shows is stuff you're going to see in the future. I mean, it's just the human mind. It's just like Star Wars and all that. That time going to come.
Is Steven Spielberg the best director of all time?
I mean, he's a really, really good director. Is he the best of all time? I don't think so. There's other directors I like. I like the Coen brothers. I think they're good. Nolan's really good. It's hard, like, because then you got to throw in Scorsese and Coppola. You got to throw in all these great directors, and it's just like...
Who would win in a fight, Steven Spielberg or Francis Ford Coppola?
I don't know much about Coppola as a person, so I'd probably pick him. Like, the guy who made The Godfather, I would assume could probably beat up the guy who made E.T.
We're going to move on to our How Obsessed Are You question. These are questions I ask, or variations of them, of everybody to get a sense of how obsessed they are across all the podcasts.
Okay, cool.
Do you think about Jurassic Park every day?
No.
Yeah. It's it's like resonant and important to you, but I get the sense that in general you're a thoughtful person, but not that obsessive of a person, that you have a lot of different things you like.
I don't know if I think about anything every day other than the basic needs.
Okay.
I don't know.
Do you think about Steven Spielberg himself every day?
You know, I would give Steven maybe like once a week.
Okay.
Maybe twice a week.
I think that's good. Have you ever had a dream about Jurassic Park?
Loads.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, stress dreams, like
Yeah,
running from
on
the
and off.
dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a stress dream about the scientists?
Yeah, one time a scientist was chasing me. No. It's normally, it would be the dinosaurs that I'd be afraid of.
Okay. If it was the only way you could ever see the movie again, would you steal a copy of it from Walmart?
Yes.
Yeah, just no questions asked because you need to see the movie every once in a while?
Yeah.
You want to have that experience?
I think that certain things are more important than Walmart's bottom line.
Okay, I think that's a great answer. You're not married, are you?
No, sir.
Would you have a Jurassic Park themed wedding?
You know, I like themed weddings. I don't know if Jurassic Park would be.
I don't know exactly how you'd theme it, but
I heard like Chris Hardwick had like a Star Wars themed.
I think he had a little bit of everything.
Like,
I think there was a cowboy theme and a bunch of Star Wars and Star Trek. But like I do a Star Wars podcast with a woman named Jennifer Landa, and she had an entirely Star Wars themed wedding.
Woo!
To the point that she is in Target's most recent commercial. That's like
what?
They were finding people who've done like
I get
who've
you.
incorporated Star Wars into their lives in exotic ways. So like there are definitely people who have full themed weddings. Jurassic Park is different though because like you said, it is about the inevitability of disaster, which is a weird theme for your wedding.
There is sort of like a Grant and Sattler wear like very archetypal gendered clothes. Like Grant wears like blue and Ellie wears pink.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sort of just like, it feels a little on the nose.
Yeah.
You know, same with like the black and white of Hammond and Malcolm.
Yeah.
But in the course of it, you're just like, oh, this is a dinosaur movie. They can't be thinking of stuff like that. You know, little Tim is dressed exactly like Grant. He looks like a little Grant. You know, all this stuff is intentional. It's funny that like, but so when you say like bride and groom, I can picture like a Grant and and Ellie bride and groom that like kind of works in my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know, something about just like the natural costuming. Sort of works as like man and wife in a very sort of like traditional way. Yeah.
I can see a big fancy wedding where there's just a giant animatronic T-Rex and like you have the couple's name on a banner. And
Oh
the
yeah,
T-Rex
that's a great idea. Oh man,
Letters.
Welcome to matrimony. Banner comes flying down.
Would you ever dress up as a velociraptor at like a convention or anything?
I have dressed up as a velociraptor, not at a convention. When I was a kid, I got like, it was a catalog called like 100 Things You Never Knew Existed.
Okay.
It had a crazy title. It was like 1,000 Things You Never Knew Existed and Can't Possibly Live Without.
Okay.
I want to say that I'm pretty sure that is the actual name. But in it were lightsaber replicas and fog machines and strobe lights and laser pointers and X-ray goggles, and it was just like, it was just perfect for me being 10 or 12.
Yeah.
And at one point I saw that they had like a raptor costume, and I like begged my parents for it. We were never like, you know, I dressed up for Halloween, but it was
and
never
to be Steven Spielberg, and that's it.
Sure. But those, I swear that's it. No. And I got them to do it. They bought me this like raptor costume that I still sort of have.
Okay.
Like, you know, you don't really throw that stuff out. And when you do sketch comedy, you sort of just like all your childhood costumes, like just stay in the closet. But the head and hands are very good. And the bodysuit was just awful. It was like just a crappy like plasticky dinosaur skin thing with like a crappy tail that I filled with cotton.
Okay, to make it better.
Yeah, but great costume otherwise.
Did you use it for your video, or did you just like
no?
Like, you know, it's Sunday night, I'm putting on the Velociraptor costume.
This was like a Halloween thing that I just like. I begged my parents for it. But if I had it, I would have used it in my Redux of JP.
Did you get extra joy from opening doors while dressed as a Velociraptor?
Oh my God, it was the best. It was like in 93 or 94 too. So very often like the dad who opens the door would be like, "Oh, honey, come see this," or like, you know, they would have me come in and like scare their kids or something.
Nice.
Like it really felt like a culturally relevant, like it was a very zeitgeisty costume, I guess.
This is what everyone's excited about.
Yeah,
That's cool. This is the final question on the How Obsessed Are You? It's a weird one. I ask everybody this question.
Okay.
If you couldn't watch Jurassic Park without you or someone you love first being punched in the crotch, would you still watch Jurassic Park?
I would say I watch Jurassic Park once every year or two.
Okay.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, I don't believe people when they say, like, I watch Back to the Future every year on my birthday or whatever.
Yeah.
Actually, I do believe it. That's very believable.
I think it for sure happens.
But I'm not one of these guys who, like, has, like, ritualistic movie watching.
Right.
It's just like, yeah, you know, I'll call a movie my favorite movie if I've seen it 4 times.
Okay.
And, like, just don't drill me on the particulars.
Yeah.
But Jurassic Park definitely ranks as, like, probably maybe not, like, you know, I'd call it my favorite movie.
Okay.
Or like just because of it hit when it hit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would go keeping with the once every 2 years watch.
Okay.
Or once a year watch. I'd gladly take Punch in the Nuts or whatever it was.
A Punch in the Nuts. That sounds about right. Cool.
Easy trade.
Cool. I asked people to make a noise to sum up their obsession. Can you make a noise to sum up your obsession?
You know what that is?
No.
That's the Malcolm quote unquote hitting on Dr. Sattler in the helicopter. He's like sort of growling at her.
Yeah.
Remember?
Is it a laugh thing?
He's sort of doing like he does like a dinosaur growl that turns into laughter.
Oh, okay.
And he's just like it's like the weirdest sound. But that definitely is like one of those charming things that you just don't get in like Jurassic Park 2, 3, 4.
Right.
Whatever.
You don't get the sheer absurdity and weirdness.
Yes.
Full on Jeff Goldblum. Cool. I've been rating people's obsessions. So the highest number is 7, just because I like the number 7.
Okay.
I try to give it a little flavor. So I'll say out of 7 velociraptors. I think you were about 4 velociraptors obsessed.
Okay.
Do you think that's high or low?
I think that's fair.
Okay.
I wouldn't I'd like to see it a little higher.
You'd like to see it a little higher?
But
yeah.
You know.
Well, I think the thing is that you clearly have a relationship with the movie that it means a lot to because you saw it as a kid at that right formative time, and you have a lot of analytical perspective on it. Mm-hmm. But it almost seems more like you're obsessed with the world that Jurassic Park opened up to you for understanding Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And being Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, baby.
I'd maybe give you like an 8 for being obsessed with Steven Spielberg.
Great.
Since you messed up with him. You sort of wore his skin for a day.
I've been to his office.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my buddy was... he worked at Amblin for a little bit, and he was editing his feature. My buddy Randy was editing his feature in Spielberg's like home video edit bay.
Oh wow!
Like he's got all of Amblin to make his movies, but he also has like a Final Cut bay for his kids.
Oh, just play
like Christmases, Halloween videos and stuff. So they have somebody on staff who like digitizes his home movies and his kids like recitals and all this stuff and burns them on DVD and all this stuff. And so Randy was editing his feature in that bay. Like that was sort of like up for grabs. Anybody could kind of use that. It was like a hobby bay. And I walked through the building because we were there after hours, and he said, "Hey, you want to see his office?" And I didn't go poking around, but the first thing you see is Rosebud, the sled.
Oh, really?
Is on his wall.
The actual sled?
The actual Citizen Kane Rosebud. And then also there were like dozens of original Norman Rockwells.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Would you want to meet him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that would be like a major thing.
That would have been really awesome if you opened the door and then he slowly emerged from his desk from behind it.
God.
Surprise.
Yeah, I was so like my buddy Randy met him so many times that it was like not a thing. I can't imagine.
Do you want to plug yourself, tell people where they can find you on social media, anything that you want them to look up or look at?
Oh, sure. I am on all forms of social media at Jefferson Dutton. Yeah, that's
just
it.
Straight up. Cool. Anything else that you want to direct people to?
Birthday Boys is on Netflix.
On Netflix, nice.
Hopefully new stuff coming someday.
Awesome. Here's some quick plugs for the show before our final questions. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram as @JosephScrimshaw. You can follow Obsessed Podcast on Twitter as @ObsessedPodcast. You can also follow Molly Lewis, the awesome musician who wrote and performed our theme music, is @Molly23. There are 2 ways to support Obsessed. You can back us on Patreon and get exclusive bonus episodes every month. For full info on that, go to patreon.com/JosephScrimshaw, or you can support all the podcasts on the Feral Audio Podcast Network, including Doughboys, by shopping through our portal. Just go to feralaudio.com, click the Support Our Artist button, and shop on Amazon, and some of the money will go to supporting Feral Audio. What should people buy on Amazon besides Jurassic Park?
Ooh, what did I just buy? I just bought a tie rack. Don't laugh. It's a good investment.
That's great. That was a laugh of surprise, not judgment.
No, I love organizational things. Like I had a thing for my trunk.
Yeah.
I got that thing that you hang but put shoes in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
It's like
a shoe tree? Is it a tree? Is that the noun?
It's not shaped like a tree. It's sort of shaped like a stack.
Okay, it's a shoe stack.
Yeah, so go get yourself a little shoe stack.
Yeah, a tie rack, a shoe stack.
Yeah.
And everything you need to pretend to be Steven Spielberg. Here are the final questions. They don't have anything to do with your obsession, but they can if you want.
Okay.
If you could have a little door in your home that opened to any location, real or imaginary, where would you want it to go?
Tokyo.
Nice. Have you been to Tokyo before?
No, that's why I want it.
Nice. If you could shoot anything out of your hands, what would you want to be able to shoot out of your hands?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's really good.
Yeah.
Gold bricks.
Oh, yeah, because you could use them for money or hurting people.
Yeah, money or weapons.
Weaponize those gold bricks. And the final question for everyone on the podcast is, what is happiness?
Ooh, I once heard, I wish I had a citation for this, that the people who are happiest in life are the ones who find a way to do something related to the thing that made them happy when they were in the sweet spot of 8 to 10 years old,
okay.
or like 10 to 12 years old. That there is like this sort of impressionable period in your childhood that if something is really hitting with you then, and then you can kind of do that in your adult life, that those are the people who like report the highest occurrences of happiness, or however they break this down. And I would say that like I think about that a lot, and especially in regards to Jurassic Park and Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, so you're in the sweet spot. So you are going to
be the happiest of all.
So you're either going to create movies or be chased by dinosaurs. Yeah. In either of those will make you either. Super happy.
Sure.
That's a great answer. Thank you so much for doing the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That is our podcast.
You've been listening to Obsessed. Joseph Scrimshaw and his guest shared some stories with the rest. Rate 5 stars if you're impressed.
All right, so they're in the helicopter, right?
Yeah.
And he's like...